Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Browzwear Indie and Fabrica Lab co-hosted webinar. So today we'll be covering an introduction to Browzwear with our guests, Vivian Pak and Carrie Chan from Browzwear. So for everybody who is joining us for the first time, hello, my name is Tim Muller. I'm the lab manager at the Mills Fabrica. So I take care of our prototyping lab over there. And I will be giving you a little bit of an introduction today on what the Mills Fabrica does, our mission, our objective, a little bit of information about the services we offer at Fabrica Lab because they will be part of the package that you get from completing this webinar. And then I will pass it on over to Vivian and Carrie, who will be covering the introduction to Browzwear, and will show you the live demonstration. So with all that said, let's get started. So for those of you who are not familiar, the Mills is a revitalization project. It's located in Chunwan. So the idea was to transform one of the old textile mills from the Nanfeng Group, which started in the 1950s as a cotton spinner and textile manufacturer, into a new heritage, retail, and innovation center. So the mills actually has three pillars. We have CHAT, which is the Center for Heritage Arts and Textiles. They're basically the museum part of the mills, and they will focus a little bit more on like heritage craft, on exhibitions around textile art and craft, as well as some workshops with the community to provide some knowledge sharing. We have the shop floor, which is what most people are familiar when they come to the mills. So it's our experiential and experimental retail area. So we are a boutique shopping mall with a variety of like smaller stores that you wouldn't find in other places in Hong Kong. And we focus a little bit more on the experience of shopping rather than the products and goods that we sell. And last but not least, the Mills Fabrica, which is which is the organization hosting this workshop today, is the innovation arm of the Mills. And we are a startup incubator, investment fund, and we also have some spaces dedicated to creating textile stories globally. So to let you know a little bit more about the Mills Fabrica, we focus a lot on like textile, which is the intersection of technology and lifestyle. And we have three key theses for our view on sustainability. So currently we incubate over 25 startups globally across three different aspects. The first one being sustainable supply chain and production. The second one being ingredients or materials and products innovation. And the last one with sustainable platforms and circular models. So I will go into details a little bit about what each of these actually mean. So the first one, sustainable supply chain and production, is quite self-explanatory. It's basically technologies that will allow for better and more efficient supply chains and production processes. So you can see a list of the startups that we currently are incubating that fit into that first tenet. The second one is ingredients and materials products innovation. So basically anything that has to do with synthetic biology, like creation of new materials that will help improve sustainability in both the apparel and textile industry, as well as the agri-tech and food industry as well. So this is a new one that we are currently expanding into. So you can see a list at the bottom of the screen of those like portfolio companies that fit into that. And then last but certainly not least, we also focus on sustainable platforms and circular models. So we try to drive greater sustainability and empower circularity, as in like recycling, like upcycling, and all like the related, all those related technologies. And you can see a list of the related startups at the bottom of the screen as well. So this is where our current portfolio stands in terms of impact and in terms of alignment with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So this should give you like a good idea of the current things that we cover and we keep expanding our portfolio. So we have companies, basically, we hope to have companies that will cover all of the development goals very soon. So the way that we support our incubatees is, first of all, by giving them exposure using our using our retail pop-up that we have at the Mills on the shop floor, giving them opportunities for external showcase as well with our partners, as well as online through our social media, and then press, as well as media channels that we keep close in contact with. We also host a variety of virtual events, webinar, and workshops where all of our portfolio companies can participate in different ways and like kind of showcase the kind of things that they do. Secondly, we are a very well-connected startup incubator and fund. So we have like more than 300 partners globally that in a variety of industries. So we can put our portfolio companies in contact with people who would be the best fit for them. We also partner with academic institutions throughout the world as well in order to get talent directly after they graduate. And lastly, we also provide advisory, so customized support plans to accelerate those portfolio companies' growth, and also to help them develop and grow in key business areas from strategy to operations, legal, etc. And like I mentioned earlier, we also have events and workshops, but this time like kind of more on like the mentoring side of things, on to help them like figure out key business areas, industry trends, and also help them with research and analysis as well. So I mentioned briefly earlier that we have a close contact with universities throughout the world. So we actually like to nurture young talent through residencies and job opportunities with our like network and portfolio companies as well. So there's a variety of workshops and programs that we host like throughout the year with many different institutions, starting as little as first grade and going all the way into higher education as well. So we've covered the entire spectrum of education. We also offer several innovation prizes and residencies to students with particularly impressive projects. So like, for example, our Textile for Social Good International Competition, we partner with Central St. Martin's on their sustainability prize. Those are just some of the different innovation prizes that we participate in. So one way that we actually organize those programs is at our Fabrica Lab, which I will go into a little bit more details about. So Fabrica Lab is our dedicated prototyping lab that we have located at the Mills Fabrica. We are a center for experimentation and prototyping. So we have 3,000 square feet located directly in our office space in Xinhuan. And it is a professional environment where creative mind startups and our strategic partners can work together, learn from each other, and collaborate as well. So our mission is to be the #1 space in Hong Kong with a focus on textile and sustainability for startups, corporates, and educators. So we curate this very special space for everyone to teach and learn more about textile and new technologies, as well as support education initiatives and programs, particularly in textile and sustainability for all ages. So like I mentioned, all the way from first grade, all the way to higher education, university level. We create interactive trainings and workshops to a variety of audiences. So from the general public to education to corporate. And our goal is to help with discovery and skill building in an enjoyable and professional environment. And lastly, we have a strong, tight-knit community of partners, members, and sponsors that help us realize that help us create a community of textile-minded individuals all throughout the world. So the space Fabrica Lab is available for everyone. So we actually are open to the public, and anybody from startups to students to corporates or even independent designers can join us and use some of the space and the technologies that we have available for them. So we operate on a flexible membership system that anybody can really can be referred to and apply, with plans starting as low as $1,500 a month. So just to know a little bit more about the kind of services and equipment that we have on site. So we have both hardline and softline. So for the softline, we have everything related to like garment prototyping, like fashion design. So from like pattern cutters to industrial sewing machines, even to embroider, like computer operated embroidery machines, as well as more recent developments in fashion technologies like a 3D body scanner, 3D fabric scanners, and so on. For the hardline, we offer the same kind of equipment that you would find in any other prototyping lab in Hong Kong, including 3D printers, laser cutters, soldering station, power tools, etc. So we're actually suitable for both people who are working exclusively in the tech area, but also for people who are working in the fashion design, fashion technology area as well. And then just to know more about some of the things that we do offer, like I mentioned, training and educational programs is like a big part of what we do. So with basic training for all the members who join our lab, and advanced training with our sponsors and our partners, and like especially in the education side of things. And also workshops and seminars. So currently we are, like that gives you a good example of the kind of webinars that we can offer together with our partners. And we connect the community with universities, industry, and startups. So these are some of the pictures of some of the workshops that we have hosted over the past couple years. So you can see it can go from anywhere from more like of the digital design side of things to more hands-on like discoveries. And last but certainly not least, we are very thankful to all our partners and sponsors who help us, who support us with world-class machinery, equipment, and software. So today you will hear more from one of our prime sponsors, Browzwear, and they will be letting you know more about their technology, the kind of things that they do, and give you a little bit of a demonstration of what their software actually can do. And with that said, I will pass it on over to Vivian, who will give you a little bit of an introduction.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for the introduction. It's very interesting. I love the workshop. I think that that's very good for the Hong Kong market, for corporate or schools. There's an environment that we have so many the machines and all that, so that we can learn a little bit more for the technology. Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm Vivian, the business development manager in Hong Kong for Browzwear. Today, I'm going to give you an introduction about Browzwear, the capability, what we can do, and how we to understand how to understand about 3D, and followed by a live demo. My colleagues, Carrie, will take care about the demo. Okay, let me share my screen. Oh, yeah. Before my start, I wanted to understand more that I think you guys come from different roles, right? Design roles or technical roles or merchandising roles. So maybe welcome to let me know if you are coming from design roles. Maybe you can, in the chat box, you can type D for me, so that after my introduction, I can take a look to understand the background. If you come from a technical background, maybe you type T. If you are from merchandising background, maybe you type M for me. Or you are nothing. I mean, you are not from garment industry. Maybe you type me G. Okay, thank you so much. Wow. Yeah, if you're a student from some academy area, maybe you can type me A academy. Thank you so much. Okay, let me share my screen. I believe you guys can see. Okay. Can you see my screen? I believe yes, right? Carrie? Yep, okay. Okay. So in my PowerPoint, all the garments that you see is 3D. We call 3D or virtual garment. Okay. So nothing is real. I mean, nothing is physical garment. So you can see what we can do here. Why nowadays everybody talk about 3D? Number one, because we are now facing the COVID-19, the pandemic. That's why lockdown, everywhere lockdown. So if we sketches a style and then we need to send to factory and then we need to wait, even though you finish the garment, you need to send to somewhere and then for approval and then send again for another place for approval, right? It takes a lot of time. So I think 3D can be helped for some area. We are not going to replace all the physical sample, but we can replace some unnecessary physical sample. For example, that in our well, we need to do some salesman. So maybe for the salesman, all the colorways can do 3D, but we just only submit one physical sample for them to touch, to review. So that helps to save time, money, and also the sustainability. And also maybe for the prototype, if some of the designer, they give the comments all about design-wise. So maybe we can submit the 3D rather than a physical sample because they change a lot of things. So when we review the 3D, okay, we give all the design comments, and then after that, we can submit another 3D or with a physical sample. So I think 3D can help to save some unnecessary physical sample. We are not going to replace all, but we can replace some of them. So now in the reality, we sketches for designers, sketches the style, and then send to the factory, and it takes 55 weeks. But in 3D, everything we can import into our software, and then we can review here. So it saves a lot of time. It takes 12 weeks. So why I can say that, because you can see this timing done. We sketches the style, and then in reality, for the paper pattern, they do the pattern, and then after that they buy the fabric, and then they cut the fabric, they stitch the sewing the fabric, the sewing the garments, and then come out with a physical garment. But in 3D, we also do the pattern. But after that, we bring in the pattern into software, and then we stitch inside software. So this one is a 3D. 2 years ago, we can sell this, but nowadays people cannot be satisfied with just the garment, but wanted to show in this way, composing with the human. And then that's why we can do the e-commerce, e-catalog to present this. The whole story is a human wearing a garment, right? So the story is totally different. I think that is what much more interesting. And also for Browzwear solution, we are not using the software to make just nice garment only, but we suppose you can see what here, what you can see here, the physical garment should be exactly the same, and then we can export out the pattern, and then we can do the physical. So if everything all right, what means everything all right? That means when you're using the correct pattern, correct avatar, and also for the fabric that is correct, the 3D should be 90 or 95% close to your physical. So why we need to do in this way? Because nowadays for the consuming pattern is totally different. They sell before produce. And also we're looking for the accuracy from the 3D fittings. And also when we're doing the 3D, we can fast our design much more. And also we have all the data for our supply chain. In 3D, we need to build up the trust. How to understand the 3D? Is it too tight or too loose? So we need, I think that is another a language, 3D language. We need to learn how to build a 3D. So we need to build up the fit validation. We build up the trust between customers and also manufacturer or designer work factory. So what we can do in 3D, besides the drippings, I will show you why, how we do the fabric drippings. Because you know, every fabric, they have different physical properties. So when we change the fabric, the drips will be different, right? So I will show you later on how we do that. And also the texture. But besides that, maybe we have some artwork, some prints. In order to develop all this, you can see how we do that. That is just maybe for designer, when they develop an artwork, maybe they develop with AI or Photoshop. So we can use any file format, AI or JPEG, whatever, and then import into our software. We can use the print execution to predict how it looks like in a full print, or because we have the integration with Substance. So if you saw some nice texture from Substance, you can bring in into Browzwear also and put on your garments to see how it looks like for the end garment. And also we are concerned about the seam construction, because the open end, different sewing reflect different effect, right? So we also focus on this, and we can do fur, or we also can have some presentation tools to help the user when they present in front of the customers. They can just by click all the snapshot, rather than they need to dress overall again in front of the customers. And nowadays we also can do some washing effect for the denim, or even though for the woven fabric, you can do the regular washing inside our software. And also we build up the fit validation. So I'm now going to show you all these garments that is 3D or virtual garment that is done by inside our software, and then we export directly from Browzwear. So you can see, wow, that print is very nice. Actually, we scan the fabric in solid, and then for the print, AI or Photoshop, we just place, drag and drop inside Browzwear. Later on, Carrie will show you how to do that. And also for this, for the embroidery, okay, we are not going to develop the whole embroidery, but we are just place, the artwork, and then to use the integration with Substance to predict this effect. And then you can send to your customers to review, okay, if I'm a designer, I was like, oh, that may be too small, I want to make it bigger. So you no need to develop the embroidery type before the production. You can send and then communicate with designer first, your customer first, before produce. And also all this is 3D. You can see, wow, that is quite nice, because you can see we have some shading, some shrinkage effect on the stitching, and we can also do the fur effect. And even though for a sweater, you can visualize how it looks like with that yarn effect, right? So that is the rendering. What we do rendering here is doing by V-Ray. So you can see different garments for denim, make the holes, make the washing effect, or for the puffy jacket, and some gathers like swimwear or some dress. or some of our customers doing e-commerce, they can do in this way. That means they can composing photography with the 3D garments and also Tillman to present in this way to upload into Zalando or their own website for sales. So I trying to introduce my company. We start our business in 2000. We start with the virtual dressing room. Just nowadays, everybody using different apps to do the virtual dressing, right? So we start this business at 2000. And at the very beginning, we have just one software called VStitcher. Later on, Carrie will show you what we can do in VStitcher. So VStitcher is from 2D to 3D. We import the DXF pattern and then we stitch and then comes out with a 3D. And you can see after that, in 2014, we have another software called Lotter. That is for some of the designer who are not going to touch the pattern, but they just focus on graphic. Okay, I wanted to rotate, enlarge it, or to design rather it looks nice, cross over two panels, so that you can use that another software called Lotter. You are not touching the pattern. You are not change the blocks. Okay, so no matter how you use our software, but most of our customers looking for e-commerce pipeline. That's why they use 3D. And this is our company territories. We are Singapore office, and we have our marketing sales team in US, Europe, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. And also we our R&D in Israel. That means our software update and all the developer are in Israel. Here you go, some of our customers. You can see the branding, some of them sourcing company, some of them department store. So all of them, they're using Browzwear, but the using way is different. All right, some of them start with Lotter, like Walmart. They start with Lotter because they have same block, but just different silhouette or different design season by season. So they partnership with vendors who is using Browzwear, VStitcher, and then once they done the 3D blocks, they share with Walmart, and then they do the inside design within the 3D blocks. But most of the customers like Polo or PVH, they're using both for two group of people. For designer who is not touching the pattern, or some of the designer and technical designer, they touch the pattern, they use VStitcher. All right, so all depends, I think all depends the customer's workflow. If the workflow, they need to use both to collaborate, they will use two of the software. So that is our end-to-end solution. We have VStitcher, we have Lotter, and also we have a cloud platform called StyleZone. That is a cloud platform. When you've done the 3D, you don't want to share your whole file to your customers. You can just upload into StyleZone, and then you can just review there. I can show you just like this. That is our public StyleZone, and then when you upload there, you can just review this way. You can full screen as a turntable. You know why? Because when we do 3D, we are not going to review in a 2D. We are not going to review in the through image. We can review in this way. So that is more 3D. And then you can give comments in StyleZone, just like Pinterest or Facebook. So that is very convenience for two parties to communicate together for better understanding. So that is StyleZone. And also we have tab pack. Tab pack means when we do the design inside our software, everything already behind. For example, you design shirt, and then you place the fabric and also different colorways. So as long as all data is behind, you can just by click, and then you have the whole tab pack BOM, rather than you ask a junior to type an Excel sheet with all the BOM info, right? So that is, I think digitalization is to less the repeat works. So as long as when we design inside the software, the data is already behind. There's no way to repeat the works and to type another Excel. Okay, so and also we have open platform. I will share a little bit more about open platform afterwards. Here you go. So the open platform means we are trying to seek for some high technology company and bring into this traditional garment industry. So, you know, for the traditional garment industry, we buy the fabric and then we cut the fabric. But now everything goes by 3D. So we need to, when we done inside Browzwear, we wanted to make this 3D connect with different platform or different application. So that's his open platform partner do is they use our own source and then we integrate with their platform and do extra works. So for example, some of the integration we already developed, like all the avatar, we have partnership with Avalon and also some of another 3D avatar. And then when they're done, we bring into our software, and then we can review it, and then we can do the fittings. Or some PRM system, when we done the 3D, we can integrate into PRM system. And then they can, maybe some of the customers, they wanted to keep all the data in their PRM, and then they export the type pad from PRM. All right. And also some of them maybe for merchandising, I wanted to sell. So we also can have integration with Retail EcoShot, and then we present the composing photography and then add directly to your platform for sales or whatever. Or some of the designer, they stick to AI. So we can integrate with AI already. So when you do the 3D inside our software, and then you can quickly export the pattern into AI and continue your print. Later on, Carrie will show you this. So that's his open platform. So for example, that for our customers, they done the 3D, they upload to First Insight, and then they can do some analysis there. Or here you go for the Retail EcoShot. So you can see when we finish the 3D, we're trying to change the avatar by using Retail, a real human avatar. So we prepare again to dress up. After that, you can just click the plug-in button, and then you can see the composing photography result here. Everything that you do is within this picture. You don't need to change different software. So now we can change the pose and to review again. So I think for designer, that is very convenient when we're doing the PPT to have better presentation. We can do that. And also we have integration with Genealogia. That is all about denim. So when you're doing denim, everything is all about washing. So for example, here we dress up, that is a denim. We done the denim already, and then we bring in some washing. So what I'm doing here is we drag and drop the washing effect and then move around. Oh, that looks nice. And then we put another washing at the back. So we click overlay and then you blend into the garment. Okay, once done, you click laser wash and then we pack with pack. And you quickly pack the file get into Genanojo machine. So when you get into the Genanojo machine, it runs out a readable file. They can follow exactly washing to do the washing with their laser machine. You can see they bring into the e-mark and then follow our washing to do the garment. Our customers already start with this by using the integration with Genanojo since 2019, and the accuracy is very good. That is what I heard. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, another video here is, and we have another partner called Beyond, who's doing 3D digital showroom. So for example, that you can see when we done the 3D inside Browzwear, we can bring into their platform. And then once we bring into their platform, they have some mood board. You can, for designer, to do the mood board with different colors or some video. Or you can also some pictures so that you can present your customers in a nice way. Or you can review also front, back, and side, or 3D, just like what we did in Style Zone. And also, they have a platform to place the buy. For marketing people, they just drag and drop. That is much more easier for them to access the whole software. So for example, they click which colorway they needed, or they wanted to do their own digital showroom. They have some template, and then they just drag and drop, enlarge it. That is much more easier for marketing people. Of course, if you are looking for real development, you can deal with them directly. Or they have some rank, so you can export the garment with hanger from Browzwear and then do it this way as an AR. That is very interesting. For some of the brand, they're looking for some digital showroom for presentation. Even though you can put it this way also. So that is Beyond. And also some of our customers looking for automation. That means, for example, that here you go, as I'm a designer, I've done a garment like this, but I want us to see the different colorways. So I import for the colors that I'm looking for, the 5 colors here, and then I can click the plugin to generate all the mix and match. So maybe designers spend maybe a week to do that, but here you go to let the computer to do for you. It saves time, and you just select which one that you think your customers is interesting. You just pick it and then send it. So that is automation. Automation is very wide. That means in different workflow, you can also think about automation. For example, if I'm merchandising, I was like, I wanted to see the course. When we done the 3D, what's the about course? We can do that. And also maybe some of the designer, I wanted to generate a tab pack when we done the 3D. We also can do that. Just like very big machine in your server, when you done the 3D, you upload into that, but all depends on your scripting. You can write your own scripting. So that is automation. So after that, I can share a little bit more about our indies. So you can see a QR code. I suggest you guys can scan it now, or you can capture this for later on you can fill the form. So what's that? I can show you. Okay, so for the indie, that is an indie program that we're trying to push to the market. Actually, we pushed already last year in US and also in some of the Asia country. For the people working in this industry, or under the pandemic, that is so many layoff, and so many people get lost for their job, so they have time. They can learn a little bit more. So when you do the scanning, you can see the form here. I welcome you to fill up the form and then to join our indie program. That is a program that to give a free license for the people, and then to learn by themselves in their own time. So you can see after that you can get a university to learn inside our browswear. So that is, oops. That is university. We have 101, 201, and also 301. So that is very basic, inter, and also advanced level. When you click in, you can see we have so many courses there. So that is very, very simple that when you click in, for example, I wanted to learn how to make a garment creations. So you can go through all this one by one. Some is a documentary, and then some is for the total videos. You can review the total videos, and after that you can download the file, and then you can practice what exactly we are teaching here. So that is a very simple way to let people to learn by themselves. So after that, you can upload, because for all the people, when they join the indie, they will also can join our browswear. And after that, when they're done, you can see that is indie style zone. So that is all the people they learn by themselves in our indie program. And that is what they did. That is amazing, right? So for example, here, they learn by themselves, and then they upload here for sharing. Okay. So if you guys are interested on that, I suggest you can join it. And then after that, you also can join our real platform. So what's that? That is another platform for some of the users. They already well known about browswear, but that is some market. I mean, let me show you. In our website, what's the website? In our website, you can see we have the guild platform. So that means everybody, all the customers can get into our platform, and then when they're looking for some freelance, or even though some new staff to join their 3D team, they will look up here. So if you join also for the guild platform, you can also join this. For example, I'm a brand, and then I can join there. Oh, I see what they did, what this guy can do, and then I can be in touch with them to have an interview. So that is a very good opportunities for people. They know about 3D. So I appreciate if you guys can join this. You can start with indie, and then after that to join the group platform. Okay. So I think my introduction already done here. Before we start the live demo, I think maybe you guys will ask, oh, how we do the, oops. how we do the fabric scanning and all that, so that I can share. Let me share again my screen. Okay. So when we do the 3D, as what we said that we have 3 elements: pattern, avatar, and also fabric. So when the fabric, we do the physics, and also we do the scanning. So for the fabric physics, so you can see here.
We're saying goodbye to manual fabric analysis and complicated data entry, and
for our
hello
machine
to the
called
digital
Fabric
age with the
Analyzer.
Fabric Analyzer by Browzwear. The Fabric Analyzer identifies the thickness, stretch, and bend properties of
We
any
cut the fabric in
visualizing
stripe, and then we
garments.
put on
Simply
the
place your
fabric
fabric on the machine
analyzer
and
to do
retrieve
the
the
testing.
data as you work.
We test the
Once
bending,
analyzed, the property values can be
stretchability,
automatically
and
loaded in
thickness, and all
3D
that.
software programs like VStitcher for
So that's why
true-to-life
when we
3D
place different
simulation of
fabric,
any pattern with
you
any
can see
fabric.
different drips.
For more information or to schedule a demo, visit us online at browzwear.com.
So besides the drips here, you can also see different mapping. That means you can see the fabric texture. How to do that texture? We use Visu. So that is Visu. We put the fabric there, and then we do the scanning with our camera, and then we do the capturing. So after inside the capturing, after do the capturing, and then you can see the different mappings. And also the software can do the auto tower. It saves a lot of time, even though you can change your yarn color, and then it comes out another compo. So that is how we do the how we digitalize the fabric. So I think my part done, and then I can let Carrie to show you guys for the live demo.
Okay, thank you, Vivian, for introducing our brand and also our software. And then in the remaining of the time, I will try to do a live demo to you showing our product with feature. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen now? Okay. Yes. Okay. So here is the interface of VStitcher. As you can see that there are 2 main windows. One is you can see the pattern is there, and then the other is the 3D window. Okay, so as Vivian just mentioned that there are 3 main important factors to compose a 3D garment. And then the first one is the pattern. So it's now there in the 2D window. And then we can support bringing in the DXF pattern export from the 2D software. Or you can, if you are the designer, you want to do it your own, and then you can also create it in here. And then the next one, the important factor is the avatar. And then we support different kind of avatar. And then you can see here in the 3D window, now we have the avatar on avatar. We are cooperating with them, so we are having their digital avatar here. So, but if you don't have the avatar, and then you can also bring in your scanned avatar. And then basically this is from the other software, or you can do a body scan, and then we can also link the avatar into here. Or we can also have some built-in avatar, which you can change your size. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so we have a different kind of avatar preset in here. And then the best thing about our avatar is we can change their size accordingly. For example, I go to edit avatar, and then you can see that there are lots of different kind of measurements here you can change. And then for example, this height, and then you can see that it's changing in the 3D window so that you can type in your measurement you want and then to have your fitted avatar. Also, the best thing about this is, for example, if I am going to change the waistline, and then the other remaining measurement will also follow to change. As you can see that now the underbust is also changing. So this can create a more better avatar which match to the real human situation. Okay. So after that, let's go back to bringing back the 2D window, and then we can start stitching. Okay, now you can see here there is a garment which is half finished. Let's start finishing it. Okay, from the 2D window, you can see that obviously there's something not stitching yet, so that we can spot out in the 3D window, and then we can do the stitching. We can do the stitching in neither 2D or 3D. Okay. And then we support the mirror so that you only have to click once. So when you see something like this, and then it means that you have some wrong stitching, and then you can spot out in the 3D window directly. And then so you can go back and then stitch again. Okay, now it's okay. Okay, the next thing we can see in the 2D window is you can see there is a sleeve, but however, and then it's not on the 3D window yet. Let's put it back to finish the garment. So what we are doing, the first step is we are going to tell the software this is a sleeve. So we go to the arrange mode, and then here are the sleeve. We will put it back in the cluster, the human body, to tell the software this is from the right arm position. After that, we will bring it back to 3D. And then we can start the stitching. Okay. And then we can just to see the results. There we go. Here's the completed t-shirt. And then the next thing we are going to focus on is the materials and draping. We will just mention that we are having the different kind of factors of alternating the materials, including one is the physics, and then the other one is the mapping. So let's see how the physics will affect the drape of the garments. Okay, so there we have two different kind of fabrics here. The first one is the jersey that one is using now. And then the second one is the denim. You can see that. And then so now I'm going to replace the jersey with the denim. And then we will see the changes of the drape of the garment. Okay, so when I'm going to replace it and dress it, will be able to see the area in here, in the here will become more stiff and also less wavy. It will become just like harder, because denim should be much more harder in the real life. Okay. Okay. I'm going to press the button and you can see the change. Yeah. You can see now it's much more stiffer here. And then it's because they are having different kind of physics. Meanwhile, at the same time, and then we in Restitcher, and then we can also see the pressure map and then also the tension map. And then for example, if you are going to press the map here, and then you can see that because it is denim, which is not stretched. And then when I put on the fit matting here, and then you can see that you can see in those leaf area, it turns all red, which might be indicates that it is too tight. So when I change it back, and then you can see the simulation change again. There's some release in here. And when I put on the map again, you can see that it's now green and yellow, which means it's more comfortable for the avatar to wear. So this is how the draping, the physics will affect the overall draping. Okay. And for the mapping, for sure, you can see that there are the differences in the texture in there. Okay. So the next thing we are going to talk about is if we are going to change this pattern, and then how can we do so? In Restitcher, and then for example, you have got this block, and then we want to change something, and then we can also do it from there. And then it's real time, and then so when you do any changing in the 2D pattern, you can also see in the 3D pattern. So for example, now I'm going to make it a longer to adjust. Okay, so when I pull it down, and then you can see that in 3D window, and then it automatically change into adjust. Let me bring the back pattern too. And then just you click dress, and then now it becomes a long dress. Okay. For sure, you can do a lot of different kind of changes in there, and then you can set it for presentation use. Okay. Next, we are going to talk about how to add some more design features on it. Okay. So I have got a dress here prepared, and then from that block, and then do some pattern changes on Restitcher. And then now we can go ahead to apply some design features on it. For example, we can do some fabric on it. In Restitcher, we do have our own libraries here. You can see there's woven library, also some special materials and knits, and then we do have some zipper here. And then you can download for your own creation work, design bringing in your own fabric. Okay, so for example, now I'm going to use this fabric. So I will do a drag and drop function to replace the button. And then now in 1 second, it will change into this material. Okay. Also, I can try to add some seams to it. For example, I'm going to add this trim into the lining here, the bottom hem here. It's just one click, and then I am okay to apply on it. Okay. So also artwork, and then we can bring some artwork in there, and then we support different kind of artwork, just like you can see here, PNG, and then also JPEG, and also you can see AI here, and then you can link AI file to Restitcher directly, and also PSD, and then we support the Photoshop file also. And then after you bring in here, you can see that there are some differences. For example, if you are clicking on the JPEG or the PNG, you can see there is some guidelines here. And then if you are clicking on AI, you can see that in this here, you can change the color of the vector graphic in here. So you don't need to go back to AI to change the color and bring it back to here. And then if you want to change the shape of the artwork, and then we can also link it to AI directly from here. Okay, So now I'm going to assign an artwork to the hand. Okay, for example, I am going to place it into the center front. Okay. So I can play with from this. I can play with different kind of artwork execution we just mentioned. Just click on the artwork, and then in here, you can see that there is a artwork execution button. You can choose with from normal, and then this is the one with nothing. Maybe I can change the color so that you can see clearly. Okay, this is nothing. And then we can change into different effects. For example, I do a foil print. You can see that now is turning into a foil. And then when you change into a different angle, you will be able to see it become really shiny, just like the fabric does. Okay. You can place it, the position in anywhere you want. Okay. Or, okay, so this is the dress I have now. But if I am a designer and then I want to add something on it, but I want to make some pattern changes. For example, I want to add a lace here, but I'm afraid of cutting the pattern or changing the pattern. So we are able to do some cut mark here so that you can do the changes and then without really alternating the pattern. Okay, so I'm clicking on the pen tool right here now, and then I will going to draw a line, just a like. For example, I will be drawing a line here and there. And then it's just a shape you want. Okay. And then I will turn it into a cut mark. You can see it turned into a dotted line. After that, you can place in the material you want. Okay. Now it's having the lace here. You can further adjust the thing and then to make it finalize. Okay. So now I think I am happy with this work. And then I am going to share to the public and then to everyone or someone I want. In Restitcher, and then we do have a lot of different kind of method for you to communicate with the, for example, with the factory, with your client, or with your friends. And then so the first thing we can do here is we can render an image. For example, this is the render window, and then you can see that there is the, your dress is here. And then you can go to choose whether you want to render image or turntable. And then when you set everything up, and then you can try to use, do the rendering. And then this is one of the render result of the image from our V-Way rendering. Or if you want to upload to StyleZone and then to share with the other people, and then you can upload to from here directly. Okay. Okay, so it's linked to the StyleZone, and then you can just do the settings and upload to the StyleZone. And then here is the finished product. You can render the turntable in here, and then you can do a different kind of colorways in there. If you want to, for example, now I have one colorway and then I want to do another colorway, and then we can also do so. And then we can go to this platform and then just clone a colorway. Okay. Let me delete it. You can see the window here to see different colorway. And then you can see I can try to replace the fabric to change the fabric. Okay, now here there is another colorway, and then you can also update it to the other place also. Okay. Okay, there we go. And after all things are set, and then you have upload, and then I think it's fine. And then, but when you are having some style you want to share with the factory or the client, and then we are also able to export the tab pack to the clients. And then it's also very easy. You can find create tab pack from here, and then you can find there are some more options you can choose. You can export the bomb, and then artwork position. You can have the rulers on that, or maybe also the original pattern. And then we can export in the Excel format. And then this is how it looks like at the end. You can see that there are the two colorways I make here. And then inside there, you can see the layout is there. And then also some notes. And also the bomb, you can see the fabric they are all using in the your style. They are all listing out there. And then with the information, you can type in. And then lastly, you can see that there is the artwork. And then you can see here, they export the ruler with you so that you can know about the measurement, and then also like different colorway and then different information on it. Okay. So this is kind of easy for you to try to play with, and then it's good for communicate with the others. Okay. After that, and then we can try with the other different things, and then which is rather new in our platform. I think it's good for doing the communication with the others. Okay. So that is, let me introduce the latest animation platform. Okay. It is only like in start with the 2021.1 latest version, and then we have this interface. You can see that in this platform, and then there are different kind of like toolbars, just like the animation platform from the other normal software. And then you can choose to load your avatar and then create the animation. For the built-in for the built-in avatar, we do have Olivia, and also for men's, and then we have Olivia, and then they have built-in animation you can try to work, try to play with. Okay, maybe let me play some video for you. So that, for example, it's jogging there. Okay, you can choose like walking forward. So these are the animation you can choose, and then you can dress your garment to make it just like your own catwalk show. Now I dress my garment on, and then you can see that she is rocking with my garments. Okay, we do support different kind of formats, export formats. For example, you can export the GIF, or the MP4, which is more common, or image sequence. If you want to export the image sequence and bring it into the other video editor to add some backdrop, and then you can do so. You can also export it in the 3D format, just like the OBJ, FBX, and ABC. You can export them and then bring it into the other 3D software to further work on it. So here are some examples we create for the newest animation, and then you can try to see what are the possibilities. Let's go back here. Okay. Okay. for example, and then you can see that there is the catwalk background added, and then there is the animation there. Or you can add the other background with the other light settings. Or you can try to play with cooperating with the Maximo, which is the free software from Adobe. And then you can download different kind of animation movement from here. Okay, this is an example. You can see that is kind of funny. You can browse through what they have in there. And then Blender, we can try to import those animation in Blender. And then we can build up the 3D catwalk platform for them. Or if you're more advanced, you can try to cooperating with Darts 3D, which is a software for creating the virtual model. And then so to create more realistic effects. For example, this one is shown on the social network earlier, and then it's very having a lot of popularity from this one because it's a really realistic model, and then when it moves, and then the body also moves. You can see the video from here. And then it's moving, and then you can see it's like the whole body is moving, and then the garment is also moving. And here is some, you can see is the process of how we make this one. And then it's bring from the restitcher, and then after they create the garment, and then they bring into darts, and then to further edit it. And here, one more example. And then you can see that it's really realistic, and then it's all come from restitcher, and then more active from different side. So so here are basically like my demonstration, and then showing up what the restitcher have, and then what kind of function, and then you can play around with after if you're getting the indie license. And then so yeah. And now and then maybe if you are having any questions on our demo, and then also some other things you want to ask, and then please feel free to ask. Okay. Let me stop. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
I
you
can
so much,
see.
Carrie and Vivian.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, so if we are done with the demonstration, let's move on over to the Q&A session. So we already have a couple questions in chat, but everybody else who is still here, feel free to drop in your questions in the chat box, or you can send them to cindy.law@themills.com.hk, and we will have a look at the questions that you sent over. So the first one is from Angela Holm. So asking, is the program going to be extended past June? So on the website, it says the program stops in June. However, the collaboration is until September. So will they be able to access the indie program after June?
Okay, I can see Angela also have another question said about style zone.
Yes. I
think, yeah. So I think style zone, just like you can imagine, just like what we usually use the WhatsApp group. Okay, for example, for the WhatsApp group, you have several WhatsApp group inside your phone, right? So for Style Zone, also you can open different blocks. For example, the first block that is internally from internal communication with designer and also tech team. So after that, when you're done, top management approve the sample, and then you can share out to another block, for example, client A. Okay, so you can add the client A people inside this block. So when you upload in that block, so all the people there will have a notification email said Angela already upload a style so that they can review. So that is very convenient. So you can open what our customers using, that is over 20 blocks with different customers. So did I answer your question?
Can you hear me? I suppose it's faster and easier to talk.
Yeah.
So it's only accessible to people, other companies that have Browzwear. For example, being in the indie program and then uploading garments there. Could a person share their garments with complete public?
If you are talking about the indie Style Zone, yes, that is public.
So you can share that public. So where do you find a link?
Yeah, when you upload the style, you can have you can share with your friends or your some of the employer. You can copy the link for them.
Okay. That answers the question. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
So we also have a question from Maria Ko asking, might I know this if the software can do sweater knitwear? Will the software calculate the garment weight?
Carrie, are you going to answer this? Sorry, can you repeat again?
So if the software can do sweater knitwear, and will the software calculate the weight of the final garment as well?
Oh, okay. So for now, and then we are not calculating the weight of the garment, but we do have different kind of physics properties you can see, just like the strain gauge and then the stretch and then maybe the thickness of the fabric, something like that. Maybe I can share my screen more again, and then so that we can see the more details on what data are we having. Okay. Okay. Here's my screen now. Okay. For example, and then this is the fabric, and then calculated by using the fab machine. And then inside there, you can see the mass, and then which is, this is actually the mass of the fabric, but not the whole garment. And then we have the friction and then thickness and then different bend, stretch, and then also the shear. If you are maybe, if you are working on some knitwear, maybe you can try to work on this strain gauge too for the length and then also width strain gauge. But we don't calculate the whole garment weight for this moment. Okay. I hope I can answer your question.
So one more
Hi.
question. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Maria.
No problem.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to know is because sweater knit is by Course and Wales. Does it actually do sweater knit, or is just do more woven or weft knit? This software.
Okay, if you are talking about sweater, Browzwear, okay, Browzwear, we focus on woven and cut and sew. Knitted fabric, yeah, because you know for the sweater, that's all about the yarn. We're not going to test the yarn, but now we are focusing on woven and also cut and sew. Yes, we are not support sweater yet.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you.
Still, we have some of the customers doing sweater. They're using our browswear because they use to visualize.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
So another question from the chat box, Amy Choi is asking if she can import her own fabric instead of the preset ones, and if the properties of the fabric can be applied as well. For example, with the transparency and the stretchability, etc.
Yeah. Yes, I can try to answer this question. Hello, Amy. Yes, definitely you can import your own fabric. And then maybe let me share my screen again to show you more. Okay. Okay. So come back to this window. And then, for example, this is the fabric you have. And then using the visual machine, or if you are more individual and then you use the Photoshop, and then you can create those different kind of mappings. For example, this is the diffuse map, which means the face texture of the fabric. And then there are different mappings representing different meanings of the different meaning to create the effects of the 3D. For example, this one also the roughness, which present how rough the surface should be. And then this one is normal, and which means the direction of the light, how they reflect. And then you can also create those mapping from the software you have, Visual XTest or neither Photoshop, and then you can bring it to here. So you can try to, so how to bring it in is you can try to add the fabric, and then you can try to choose the fabric you are going to download. For example, there is some preset fabric. If you are having a photo, and then you can bring in here to become your own fabric too. Okay, so for the physics, and then usually because we are using the fab machine for calculating the physics, so all the data in here is directly linked to the a software called dbadmin. Is from our Browzwear software for testing the fabric physics. They are linked together so that you can get the physics from here. And then, for example, you can see that I can have some something to choose, and then there are the different physics. So when you create the materials, and then you can bring in your materials pictures and then the mappings in here, and then go to the physics, and then load the related physics in there. Okay, if you are more individual, and then I think you can try to use import some mappings there, and then try to choose the physics from our Browzwear library, a closer one, to create the look you want. Okay. Can I answer your question?
Yes, that is very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So they are basically like combining those two options together. And then once you have changed the fabric mappings and also changed the physics, and then into your designer one, and then you can actually go into export the fabric. And then you can see the export option here. And then you can choose the destination of where you want to export, and then you can build in your own library, and then next time you can bring it in to Stitcher. Okay. Okay, I hope this is helpful.
So we have one question from Maria asking if the pattern can be exported to the Gerber system.
Yeah, good question. And then we can import our like the DXF, and then at the same time we can export our the DXF. That means if you are doing some changes in restitcher, for example, or you change the pattern. And then after you finish doing the changing, you can do the export function, and then you can bring it into your 2D pattern software again.
Okay, thank you. Excellent.
Yeah, you know, for all the 2D CAD, maybe they protect themselves. That's why we cannot directly into your 2D CAD, but we can export out as a DXF format. So that's why you can bring into your any 2D CAD.
Very good. Thank you.
Welcome. And also I saw I saw a question here is asking, can we create accessories using Browzwear? So all depends what kind of accessories that you are talking about. Because when we arrange inside our software, we need to tell the computer where we are going to put. So for example, we are doing scarf. We have a neck here so that we can also do that. Some of our customers doing sock. Yes, we can do that. But for the backpack, from my understanding, some of the accessories like backpack, bag, they are not talking about true to life. So they usually use other software like Myers and 3D Desk, whatever. They would use that kind of software to do all the bags because they are not looking for true to life. That is what I know.
So we have a question from Beatrice asking if in Browzwear University, there is a way to look for specific topics, like for example, how to apply neck tape, interior pockets, things like that.
Okay. In Browzwear University, and then we are separating different courses by topics and then also levels. And in level 101, and then we can find more basic knowledge of everything, and then from the materials, and then also to the garment creation and pattern changes. And then 201, and then we also cover the similar topics, but it's more diving deep. And then so if you are looking for some more specific topic or constructions, and then maybe you can try to take a look at the garment creation, that course, and then to see of 101 and 201, and then to see if there should be something like podcasts, how to do the podcast in restitcher. And then, yeah, you can try to browse through those courses. And what's more, I think is in Browzwear University, what's about the good point about it is we do have some videos, and then together with the practice files, and then so you can try to download with and then try to practice with them.
All right, I saw Bonnie asking, can we export the bag from Maya to Browzwear? So when you export from Maya, I think that would be a OBJ file format. So in Browzwear, as long as you are OBJ or FBX, we can bring into Browzwear. But the question is it necessary to bring into Browzwear because we will make the file is very heavy? If you're looking for some presentation and all that, maybe another some other 3D skills can do that. Because for Browzwear, inside Browzwear, we more focusing on the garments, apparels. All right. Thank you. And Hebe is asking, may I know is may I know is Browzwear is one-time charge software or charge monthly? Well, we are still discussing how to do the charges, but I think now we still free. That is the main point. The indie program still free for all the people to join. And after that, maybe in our Q3, we will have a small amount. Hopefully that is monthly charges, but we still under discussing. Yeah, 301 just add this week, just launched this week. And yeah, we all exciting. So when you're done 201, please go quickly into 301. And now 301, we free for 2 months. That definitely a charge program. All right.
Yep. And also for the 301, and then we will be cover some more topics like the animation and stuff. And then for your information.
Okay, I saw most of the participant is from academy. So I'm really happy to see the young generation so aggressive on innovation and also 3D. I'm sure that for the indie program can prepare you ready to get into this industry. And I hope that it helps. So maybe I can share the screen again. I mean, with the QR code. If you guys didn't scan it, maybe you can capture this. Oops, my fault. So maybe you can scan this or you capture this and join later, maybe after this webinar. All right. Any other questions that you need us to answer?
So there's one more question in chat, which is going back to Angela's previous question, actually.
So I think this indie program, the Mills already launched till September, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll have, so even though on the website it says that the program stops in June, we have the special collaborations. If you attended this webinar, you will still be able to benefit from the like indie program all the way until September 23rd. So also keep in mind that the indie program gives you a license for 1 month, and it will be applicable only one time. So when you register, make sure you make the most out of your 1 month of license.
Yeah, I saw also professor here from PolyU. So if you find your student that keen to this software, welcome to share with them. We're happy with that. All right.
If you have any more questions, I will type an email address in the chat box. So if there are any more questions that you think about, like after the webinar, or like you watch the video again of today's session, and there's more questions that come up, feel free to send us your questions directly. So I typed in the email in the chat box right now, and we will collate everything. We will send them back to Vivian and Carrie, and we will reply back to you as soon as we can. With that said, if no more questions, then thank you very much, everybody, for attending the session today. I hope it was enlightening and interesting for you all, and that you all learned more about Browzwear, what you can do with it, and that you're all excited to start experimenting with the software.